USA Wrestling has seen unprecedented success in recent years. The talent is as rich as it's ever been. Many of today's stars are already legends. For the first time ever, FloWrestling is counting down the top 100 American wrestlers of all time. To help us in this journey, we're visiting the greatest wrestling museums in the country. Where does your favorite wrestler land? Tune in each week as we get to number 1. What Kemp has accomplished in the sport of wrestling is amazing, and the story really is what he could have been. Starting wrestling as a freshman in high school, Kemp went on to win 2 Ohio State titles before moving to the University of Wisconsin. As a freshman in 1975, he beat the legendary Dan Gable in a college wrestling open. He would go on to make the NCAA finals against Iowa's Chuck Yagla. Yagla would win that match on a referee's decision and a bout where Kemp scored the only takedown. The rest of his college career, he was nearly untouchable, winning 3 NCAA titles before moving to the world and Olympic level.
But if there was ever an absolute lock on winning a gold medal, it was Kemp at the Moscow Olympics in 1980. He won a world title in 1978, made improvements one again in 1979, and he reached his peak in 1980 and was going to become the first 2-time world champion to win an Olympic gold medal. Then the United States boycotted.
Kemp never got his chance. He won another world title in 1982 and another bronze medal on top of that, being the first ever 3-time world champion for the United States of America.
3 NCAA championships, 3 world titles, nearly impossible to score on. Kemp, one of the all-time greats. The next wrestler on the list might need to change her name from Adeline Gray to Adeline Gold.
Adeline Gray won her first world title in 2012. And if you asked anyone, probably including herself, nobody would have thought she was still winning gold medals in 2021.
6-time world champion. You can't even count them on one hand. You need a second hand to do it, and she's the only American that has that distinction.
She also has 2 world bronze medals and an Olympic silver to her name. Adeline Gray has been at the top of her game. She is big, strong, athletic, has solid takedowns, and an iconic leg lace.
9 total world medals, the most ever for a U.S. woman. Adeline Gray is solid gold. What is the greatest college wrestling feat of all time? It has to be Kyle Dake winning 4 NCAA championships at 4 different weight classes. Dake won a title in 2010 at 141, 2011 at 149, 2012 at 157, and in 2013 he defeated David Taylor in the epic showdown at the 165-pound finals.
Immediately following his college career, he was nipping at the toes of Jordan Burrows for the better part of a decade. In 2018, 79-kilo weight class emerged. Dake went up, won himself a world title, doubled down, winning another one in 2019, and in 21, he finally was able to get over the hump that was Jordan Burrows, qualifying him for the Olympic Games, where he went and earned a bronze medal. And he followed it up with a gold medal at the World Championships in Oslo, Norway.
No one's done it quite like Kyle Dake. He's been all over the map with weight classes, 141 all the way up to 189 pounds.
Kyle Dake is the complete package, top to bottom, and one of the best Americans to ever do it. All right, folks, here he is, the man, the myth, the legend, Dan Gable. While he may not be number 1 on this list, his name may be more synonymous with wrestling inside the United States than anyone else in America today. I mean, look at us. We're literally standing inside the Dan Gable Museum. We've all heard the stories about his training, his unwavering determination to do whatever it takes to be the best, and that has inspired generations upon generations of American wrestlers.
In 1969, Dan Gable had the most dominant season in college wrestling history. He had 33 matches and won 31 by fall. Pins his way through the NCAA championships, only one of 5 wrestlers to pin his way through a full bracket.
Undefeated on his career, NCAA title after NCAA title before his final match, he dropped in the 1970 NCAA championships to Larry Owens and motivated Gable to be one of the best ever.
At the 1972 Olympic Games, he went 6-0 and didn't surrender a single point. There's only one Dane Gable, and he did it his way. There have been a few wrestlers that have completed their college careers undefeated. There have been a few that have won 4 NCAA titles, but only Kale Sanderson has won 4 NCAA Division I championships and gone undefeated.
I don't think that's just the greatest college wrestling accomplishment of all time. I think that is the greatest NCAA sports accomplishment ever.
159-0. That means he won every single tournament, every single dual meet that he entered as an Iowa State Cyclone.
He's the only wrestler to win 3 Hodge trophies, and on his senior level career, he went on to win a world silver and a gold medal at the 2004 Olympic Games. Kale was known for his aggressive, wide open style, constant pressure, constant attacking, and seemingly constantly scoring against his opponents.
When it comes to the top 100, we should all hail Kale.
The Snider Man. Kyle Snider holds more than one record in American wrestling history.
Kyle Snider, as a freshman, placed second at the NCAA championships, makes the 2015 World Team by defeating reigning Olympic champion Jake Varner, then goes on to win the World Championships in Las Vegas as a teenager.
1 year later, he followed it up and became the youngest American to ever win an Olympic gold medal at the age of 20. And in 2017, Kyle Snider did the unthinkable. He took on Russian legend Abdulrashid Sadyulayev. You could not script it better. The United States and Russia were tied going into the last match of the entire World Championships. Snider gets the win over Sadyulayev, giving Team USA their first team world title since 1995. By the time he was 25, Kyle Snider had 7 world and Olympic medals, 3 gold, 3 silver, 1 bronze.
There's a reason Kyle Snider is in the top 5. It's because he's blazed a trail for future US wrestlers to follow. There's nothing like being the first, and Helen Maroulis has her collection of historic firsts in the sport of wrestling. Along with Victoria Anthony, she was the first female to win 4 collegiate women's wrestling championships. She was the first American to win a gold medal at the Olympic Games in women's freestyle wrestling.
Not only did Helen win the Olympic title in 2016, she took out, get this, 13-time world gold medalist and 3-time Olympic gold medalist. One of the greatest to ever do it, Saori Yoshida of Japan. Helen beat her in an epic Olympic finals. She followed up the Olympic gold in 2017 with another world title, going unscored upon at the 2017 World Championships, utterly dominant. She made the Olympic team in 2021, coming home with a bronze medal, and followed that up just 2 short months later with another world title at the 2021 World Championships in Oslo. Helen Maroulis has 4 gold and a total of 7 world and Olympic medals, a resume that is nearly unmatched.
All of those historic achievements are why Helen Maroulis is in the top 5 American wrestlers of all time. When Bruce Bomgardner was selected to be the flag bearer at the opening ceremonies for the 1996 Atlanta Olympic Games, his biggest fear was that he was going to trip and fall in front of the entire world. The thing is, Bruce Bomgardner made almost everyone trip and fall when he wrestled them in international competition.
13-time world and Olympic medalist. This guy went from the 80s into the almost late 90s. He was a 5-time world and Olympic champion, 2 Olympic gold medals, 3 other gold medals to speak of. Bruce Bomgardner had a legendary career.
And he actually got pinned in the NCAA championship finals twice, once in 1980, once in 1981, until he won an NCAA championship in 1982.
Just 1 NCAA title, but I think he's probably okay with that considering the way things turned out.
The way it ended was poetic. He came down against the Russian for a bronze medal, which set the all-time record at the time for the most world and Olympic medals in history.
Big Bruce Bomgardner, big career, big credentials with a big ass mustache. Jordan Burrows. What hasn't this guy accomplished? It might be easier to list that than to list what he has accomplished.
He defines what U.S. wrestlers are going to do for generations to come. In Nebraska, he was a two-time NCAA wrestling champion, and then he went on an absolute tear.
He ripped off titles in 11, 12, 13 without losing a single match. In 2013, he broke his ankle less than a month before the World Championships, had surgery, rehabbed, won a gold.
He was a crucial part of the United States winning its World Team Championship at the 2017 World Championships by picking up his 5th World or Olympic gold medal. He promised that he was going to break John Smith's record of 6 World and Olympic Championships, and he's tied it. He had back-to-back bronze medals in 2018 and 2019 and was a second away in each match from winning a gold medal, which meant he could have been an 8-time world or Olympic champion by this point.
Jordan Burrows has evolved over his career and stayed at the top of his game the entire time. The guy has done it all. Double legs, single legs, a leg lace that is legendary. I mean, we are splitting hairs at this point. There's definitely an argument that can be made that Jordan Burrows should be at the top of this list.
How do you sum up Jordan Burrows' career? I think this quote from the 2012 London Olympic Games says it best. If the Queen of England came on the mat, I would probably double leg her.
Coming in at number 1 on this list, the greatest American wrestler of all time, you guessed it, John W. Smith, a 3-time All-American, the Oklahoma State Cowboys, 2-time national champion, and that is where the story begins.
The way John Smith's career started in college, you might not think he would be number 1 on this list. At the 1984 NCAA Championships, he was seeded number 3, but lost in the first round and did not wrestle back to place. The next year, he upped the game, placed second at the 1985 NCAA Championships, but then in 1986, his world would change.
From 1987 to 1992, John Smith ripped off 6 straight world and Olympic titles, giving up just 8 losses over those 6 years.
Before that, no American had ever won more than 2 consecutive world or Olympic gold medals, and no American had won more than 3 world or Olympic titles. John Smith smashed the record book, tripling the output of the most consecutive championships in a row by an American, and no American has come close since.
Smith's innovative style was new. Nobody had ever seen anything like it. They never saw somebody crouch all the way down to the mat and dart forward, grabbing somebody's ankles. But it wasn't just his low single leg. John Smith was an amazing scrambler. He had great turns on top, and from all accounts was strong as a bear.
And get this, most wrestlers peak in their late 20s. John Smith retired at the age of 26. There's a reason he's the GOAT.
If you look through the history of American wrestlers, there are so many greats, so many multiple world and Olympic champions, and John Smith stands at the very top of this list.